Tonight on Fourth Down on 4. The Saints do unto the Falcons as was done unto them last week. And the season's biggest game to date goes to Young and the relentless 49ers.
From WWL-TV Channel 4, this is Fourth Down on 4. Now, here's Mike Hoss.
Hello and welcome to Fourth Down on 4. As low as Saints fans were last week following the Minnesota last-second defeat, they are equally as high tonight as the Saints defeated the rival Atlanta Falcons 33-32 on a late Morton Anderson field goal. Morton will join us in the studio tonight, as will Saints tight end Irv Smith. Both familiar names on the Saints roster, but it was a rookie who helped shoot down the Falcons today. Mario Bates celebrating a day of first. He started for the first time in his NFL career. He also scored his first NFL touchdown and capped it off by scoring number 2 as well. Saints fans have ridden the emotional roller coaster the past 2 Sundays. This Saints team living on the edge keeps their fans on the edge of their seats.
So I knew the probability of being successful increased, obviously, by having a 40 or whatever it was, 39, 40-yarder. Those are kicks that I make 9, 10 out of 10 times usually, and just real happy to get a good hold and a good snap and good protection.
It's amazing the peace I felt when we got down with Quinn and Torrance made the big catches. We got down there that he was going to make the field goal. And I couldn't think of another guy I'd want to be kicking it more than Anderson.
There's something wrong with the world today. I don't know what it is.
What was wrong for the Saints was the first 5 minutes of the game. The Falcons turned a long kickoff return into a field goal. An interception into a touchdown. And a fumbled kickoff into 7 more points. The Saints had run 2 offensive plays and trailed 17-0.
I was reasonably calm for me.
The Saints didn't panic and were able to claw back into the game behind the running of rookie back Mario Bates. His 141-yard performance is the best rushing day for a Saint since former Saint Craig Hayward picked up 155 yards over 4 years ago. As for Bates, a humble star to say the least.
I am embarrassed. Why? Because everyone's all over here looking at me.
Well, you had a good game.
It was okay. It could have been better.
Bates, who missed 5 weeks because of a broken jaw, put the Saints on top 24-23 with this 4-yard run in the third quarter. His second TD of the day.
It was a little fun at times when I didn't get hit too hard, but it was good. The offensive line did a good job. They deserve all the credit, actually. If it wasn't for them blocking very well, I wouldn't be able to get the yardage I picked up today.
I know that there were some times where he made something out of nothing. He had faith in us that we were going to create a little crack. And, I mean, sometimes that's all it was a little crack in the defense, none of these gaping holes. And he would hit it and spring through, and then that's whatever he gets after that is on his own, and he's got a lot of ability.
With the Saints looking for insurance in the fourth quarter, Jim Everett's pass was picked off by Scott Case. That led to one of Norm Johnson's 6 field goals on the day, and the Saints trailed again. But the poised, confident Everett came back later in the fourth, and this perfect 21-yard strike to Wesley Walls enabled the Saints to retake the lead.
We lined up to play, and Carl Smith is saying prior to the snap, we got it. He saw the coverage that they were going to be in. We got it. And he said something about Wes, and it was a great throw and a great catch. I mean, Wes, it wasn't an easy catch. Wes had to extend himself and catch it, but it was a tremendous throw.
I'm the guy who pulls the trigger. I can't be afraid on every pass to throw the ball. I'm not some wild gunslinger from the West, but I see it, I throw it, and I got to trust my eyes, and that's what I'm trained to do, and hopefully I can make all the right decisions all the time. If I don't, I'm only human, but hopefully when I pull the trigger, it's in the best interest of our team, and we're trying to move and score, and that's all I try to do. Not everyone's perfect, but when they're not, I got a lot of guys that usually make it up.
As this team strives for the 500 mark, they are a team on the edge. Last week in Minnesota, they were knocked off, but against the Falcons, they stayed on top. A special treat tonight with two guests, Saints tight end Irv Smith and Saints place kicker Morton Anderson. Now, Irv, you've been around for a couple of years, but Morton, this is a typical Atlanta, New Orleans game.
It is, down to the wire, and we did it last year, and it's fun. I was getting tired of looking at Bobby over there doing that silly bird move anyway, so I was real happy that we were able to do it at the end, and it's a really good character builder for us to come back and win it the way we did it at the end. It kind of takes out the bad taste in your mouth that you had from last week because of the way that ball game ended. I was just real pleased for the team that we were able to put it away in the final seconds.
Let's talk about the final seconds. It was the 39-yarder. Kind of take us through, if you could.
Felt real good, and Tommy did a great job. Yuli did a great job, and it's pretty much down the pipe. I was real focused on it, and Tommy did a great job on the hold. He really did.
Little inside.
It was just a real good feeling. We were ready for it. We prepared for it, and it wasn't a surprise because we do it all the time. Great feeling.
Yeah, everybody I talked to in the locker room, I asked the question, I said, is there anybody you would rather have in the NFL in that situation other than number 7? And every response unequivocally, no. I mean, what were your thoughts with Morton out there? You knew he was going to make it.
Well, I made a comment to Morton on the sideline. I said, Morton, I said,
I see you.
I see you, Morton.
I see you, and I say, Irv, I see you. And there we were.
And it's just typical because whenever there's a game on the line, I've only been in the league for 2 years now, but I've always watched Morton Anderson kick the game winners, and it was just a great feeling to know that we had Morton Anderson on the sideline to put this game away for us.
Now, Morton ended it with that field goal. When this team was down 20-3, it was the play by Irv Smith that got this team going. Talk about your touchdown pass from Jim Everett, because it did kind of get this offense going.
Well, it was just a great read by Jim, and I think that all the guys on the team basically got open, and fortunately I was in the right place at the right time and able just to convert on the touchdown for us.
The tight ends have been so much more featured in this offense, and especially today.
Well, I think that it's just because Wesley Walls came in. I came in myself this year prepared to basically get the job done. I think that with having a great player like Wesley with myself, it helps me because I know that I don't have to go out and play 65 snaps a game and go out there and be tired every play. I know that I can always come out and he can go in and do the same things that I can do, and we can get the job done for the team.
Now, you won the game, so be honest. What were your thoughts when it was 17-0 after 5 minutes of play?
In my opinion, very positive. But a lot of game left. No, we had a lot of game left, and I think going up that early, certainly it's discouraging, but there was no sign to me anyway on the sideline and in the locker room at halftime that, hey, we need to. We kind of knew what we had to do here, and it's not unusual to come back from 17 points in the NFL. It's done all the time.
Yeah. And maybe it was better because it happened so early in the first quarter.
Yeah, I wasn't discouraged at all, really. I think we just got to put some points on the board, move the football, and we were offensively moving the football.
This offense is playing very well right now.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why the team wasn't really worried. We understood that we basically had a few bad breaks. If you look at it, they weren't bad plays by us for the most part. They were some bad breaks. But knowing that our offense was playing well, that it's still early, there's still basically over 3.5 quarters left of football to play. We just knew if we just tried to go and get 6 points or 7 points at a time and not try to go out and get 17 points, then we'd be in a good situation.
And that's exactly what you did. We'll talk more coming up with Morton Anderson and Irv Smith. Also, Doug Greengard takes us in to the Atlanta Falcons locker room. Stay with us.
Fourth Down on 4 is brought to you by Dub Herring Ford Lincoln Mercury, Pawpaw's Camper City, and Circuit City.
Friends here at Dub Herring Ford Lincoln Mercury pick you up. We have a great selection of F-150 pickup trucks. Look at this 1994 XL, air conditioned, all the extra equipment that you like, one low price, $11,988. Friends, that's after the rebate. Come on over to Dove Herring Ford. You like the way we do business.
If you ever read the set.
Call the hotline 1-800-776-5497. Dove Herring Ford, Picayune.
You bought it, Matt. You got to handle it.
If you buy something at Circuit City, then see it advertised for less, just come back. Our low price guarantee means you'll get the difference.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Last week I bought this.
Plus 10% of the difference.
And today I saw this. Just open the paper and there it was.
It's that easy.
Yeah. That's it?
That's it.
Cool.
Circuit City. Guaranteed unbeatable prices.
New Orleans football fans, they're unique in all the world. Nobody supports their team better, and nobody knows more about having a good time. Hey, the fence, where you going after the game?
Hey, man, I'm going to the Queen of New Orleans Casino.
Take it from the experts after the game or anytime for hot jazz, great food, and much, much more. Come to
Queen of New Orleans Casino.
This is the Oldsmobile 88. It comes with just about everything you could want in a luxury car. Dual airbags, anti-lock brakes, and power everything. Standard. It's also $1,800 less than Ford Crown Victoria, $2,000 less than Chrysler Concorde, and more than $2,800 less than Mercury Grand Marquis. Simplified pricing from your New Orleans Oldsmobile retailer. See what happens when you demand better?
Hey, this is the best win of all time. I'm glad we won. I'm glad we beat Atlanta because I played there and played against the guys, and those are things you got to live with and hear from the guys that we would have lost. So, hey, that was the biggest win of all time for me.
Darian Connor talking about beating his former team. There were a couple of former Saints who would have rather been in Connor's position tonight. Doug Greengard went into the Falcons locker room for their perspective on the last second defeat.
When Morton Anderson stepped onto the field to boot the apparent game winner from 39 yards, it was understandable that a former Saint didn't have a very good feeling about it.
You figure the older you get, a little rusty. Not him. He's pretty much money from that point on. So I knew when they got in there, we would just think about next week and try to rebuild on the things we made.
And there was only one way the Falcons could describe the Jim Everett-led 43-yard drive that set up Anderson's kick and erased Atlanta's 2-point lead.
Precision by the Saints. Everett was putting the ball exactly where it needed to be. I have to credit that whole game, and definitely the last drive ever.
This was a day that the Falcons' offense was able to score only one touchdown. On 6 occasions, the Falcons were on or inside the Saints' 20-yard line, and because of either penalties or lack of execution, they failed to punch it into the end zone. In all, they settled for 6 Norm Johnson field goals, including the one that put Atlanta ahead temporarily late in the fourth quarter.
It makes it really hard when, you got to do what you got to do, but when you put yourselves in those situations, 3rd and long, and they're dropping everybody back, and you just at that point you're just pretty much playing for a field goal. So, it showed today.
Meanwhile, outspoken Falcon receiver Andre Rison wasn't mincing words about the officiating.
If you take away the touchdowns that don't supposed to be touchdowns, which they didn't get when the guy didn't cross the goal line, that's a touchdown that's not a touchdown. When the guy pushed off, that's offensive pass interference, so that's not a touchdown. So, but I guess that's the way the ball bounces.
The Falcons benefited from 5 turnovers on the day. 2 of them came in the fourth quarter, but on both occasions, all they could get were field goals.
You're supposed to win a football game when you have 5 turnovers. That's just pretty much the bottom line, and we just didn't execute. And you got to give them a lot of credit for staying in there.
For the 17th time in the last 23 meetings, the game has been decided by 8 points or less, which led one Falcon to suggest
I'd just start in the fourth quarter next time and just start it there. We won't have to waste our time with the first 3 quarters. That's the way it's been, for about ever.
Doug Greengard, 4th down on 4.
Back with Irv Smith and Morton Anderson. This defense, when you look at the score, it'll say 32 points, but this defense played so well because it was able to stop from getting in the end zone, especially after the first quarter. It was all field goals. That was a big key.
Well, if you look at it first, they had a lot of field goals.
Yeah.
They scored a lot of field goals, and our defense was put in some bad situations at some times, and they held strong for us. Holding the 3 points, a lot of times people don't realize that they did a great job, and because of You know, just the backbone they had for us. You know, they really came through the times that we needed them the most.
And a play that may get overlooked, though not on this show, is the play by Tyrone Hughes. Right before halftime, they're already up 23-10, and they go up 30-10. It might be a different ballgame. That was a big play.
That's a huge play by Tyrone. He comes up with the ball and
a horrible throw.
Yeah. Well, either way you look at it, it's a big play for us, and that's what you look for. We're able to go into halftime, you know, down less than what would have been probably, and just a big play. I think really changed the momentum a little bit in the game there. Even though we were still behind, certainly I think it was a very positive thing to end the first half with. Something that we talked about in the break is the fact that when you were behind 17, you didn't panic, and this team was able to run the football. Talk about Mario Bates, and wow, I mean, what that opened up for this offense.
Yeah, Mario really came through for us. I mean, you know, we've always known that he's a good runner, and by having his first start today, I think that gave him a vote of confidence, knowing that, you know, the team depending on me to go out and, you know, to be the starting running back for us today, and he got the job done. He got a lot of carries. I think that helps a running back. I think if you ask any running back, when do you start, you know, when do you get going? How many carries do you need to really get in the groove, in the flow? You know, I don't know, Murray had, what, 22, 23 carries or whatever. 141 yards. And, you know, I think after the hopefully sooner, but, you know, certainly after 10, 12 carries, you start clicking and you start going on all cylinders. And I'm sure Mario was happy with the amount of work he got. Something we talked about with Coach Moore at the break of the season after 8 games was the fact, the inconsistency in the special teams. And we saw that early on today, though it obviously picked up towards the end. Is that something that obviously can be corrected on the practice field? Yeah, of course it can, and it can be corrected during the week, and it should be corrected by the time you play on Sunday. But there's no question that we, you know, we two big plays against us. We let them run back a kickoff, and then we fumble on the kickoff on our kickoff, so on kickoff return. So those big plays, but it's early in the game, fortunately. Things we work on. It's not because of lack of a preparation or lack of paying attention to it. It just they happen sometimes, and with the new rules on the kickoff coverage, coverage becomes more important because you're not going to get the touchbacks every time. And I think you know, we've been saying this a lot. We get 2 or 3 kickoffs, 4 or 5 kickoffs a game, and one gets away from us a little bit. We cover great on 4, and then one gets away from us. We got to get to a point where we cover good and we kick good on every single one of them. It starts with me, ends with me, but and I think that's the key. That's a case with all special teams plays. You guys got a special treat from Coach Moore after the game. Tell us what it was. Hey, we're off tomorrow. Monday is no work day. A day off for you guys tomorrow. So really, you're off Monday and Tuesday. Little golf? No, I'm going to sleep in. Sleep in and kind of heal up a little bit. Gentlemen, excellent game today. Big win for this football team, and thanks for coming down on 4th Down on 4. Thanks. Gentlemen, and 4th Down on 4 will continue right after this. Please stay with us.
Was a success story from the start. Acclaimed best car built in America, its reputation for quality craftsmanship made Camry the gold standard. It ranked among the top 10 in initial quality 6 years in a row. And Camry is built in a plant in Georgetown, Kentucky, the recipient of the Gold Plant Quality Award. And now the newly styled and refined 1995 Toyota Camry continues to write the book.
Okay. All right, guys. Man says the commercial's too long. We got to cut it down to one strong statement that says it all. How about Cotman Transmission? Expect the best. You deserve it. Yeah, that might work. Talk about it. I'll be right back.
We worked 30 years to become the industry leader.
Our livelihood depends on doing the best work.
We know that quality and service is still the best form of advertising.
That's right.
What do you think about that, Frank?
All right, guys. 30 seconds is up.
Cotman Transmissions. Expect the best. You deserve it.
Come on, push yourself. Put your heart into it. Be tough.
I'm not going to pay a lot for this muffler.
more feeling.
I'm not going to pay a lot for this muffler.
Now that I'm in the monarchy corner, if anyone says you have to pay a lot to get high-quality muffler service, you know what to tell them.
I am not going to pay a lot for this muffler.
By George, I think he's got it.
Now more than ever, at Meineke, you're not going to pay a lot, but you'll get a lot.
I guarantee it.
I had to drive because I couldn't afford to fly. Poor college student.
Now there's Continental Light. Big airline, little prices.
You know it's been a tough night in Tiger Stadium when you can't find AD Joe Dean after the game, or Jamie Howard refuses to meet with the media afterwards. The Tigers' 20-18 loss to Southern Miss dropped LSU to 2-7 on the season. Southern Miss ended the year with a winning record as they moved to 6-5. It was a game of contrasts and ironies, especially for Curly Hallman, as his program measured itself against his former one. Doug Greengard has more.
When Andre LaFleur's potential game-winning field goal sailed wide left, teammate Brett Besch was asked, is this the bottom for the LSU program?
It's close.
The Tiger program received another blow as the school Curly Hallman used as a stepping stone to the LSU job cast possibly the final stone on Hallman's career with the Tigers. That fact wasn't lost on his players.
It's a little ironic, but maybe he recruited too good for him, you know? He had their program running too good for us.
It was just another ball game. I wasn't going to make a big deal about that during the week. The same type individuals up there, if we were playing a team that I'd never been associated with. They've got Michael Tobias and good kids and good young men and good players.
Besch's face reflected the state of LSU's program as he slowly left the field. It was the senior's final game in Tiger Stadium, and he played it in front of the smallest announced crowd since 1976.
You know, I wanted to look at the USM fans. You know, they were, you know, celebrating, rocking the stadium. And I wanted to look at them, and I wanted to hurt. That's the worst feeling, especially in your home stadium, watching, you know, USM coming here. And, I mean, they're celebrating, partying, falling out the stands, you know, in our backyard. And, you know, it's tough.
With only 2 games remaining, Curly just may have walked off the Tiger Stadium field for the last time as well. The speculation of his demise has worn on his team.
You know, it's hard because people are talking about your coach and whether or not they can be here next year, but that has nothing to do with it. I mean, we got to just go out there and play and play for the school and for the team, and, you know, and things will take care of itself.
We're all emotionally scarred, you know, if not physically. And, you know, Tulane, that's another week. Next week's another game. And I don't want to be sitting talking to y'all, asking what happened against Tulane. That's what we have to work. You know, we have to have 2 wins to end out the season. You know, give the guys next year some momentum.
Doug Greengard, 4th down on 4.
Another Saturday, another loss for Tulane. Though the players try hard, reporters covering the games continue to search for new ways to talk about another disappointing non-competitive loss. Tulane's players and coaches don't help much as they pull out the stock answers. We're playing hard, we're young, and it's just a matter of execution. Last night's 38-0 loss to an average Ole Miss team was another yawner in a season of sleep-inducing games.
We're a well-kept secret. We're a better football team than anyone knows. And the key is we have 1 game left to show it.
There's no arguing with the secret part. Tulane's been playing basically in private during its games in the Superdome. Mercifully, last night's game was over less than 5 minutes in. The final 55 minutes was an exercise in futility. Tulane's quarterback spent a large part of the evening on their backs. When they got passes off, they were mostly off the mark. And when they hit their mark, they were dropped.
It seemed like we were allergic to the football tonight. It bounced away from us. We dropped it and let it escape. I feel for the kids because they're working so hard to have success. They're not stopping. They're not pointing fingers. They're tremendously frustrated, but they keep playing.
Since the 2-point loss to TCU in Game 6, the Wave has suffered 3 blowouts and the indignity of a loss at home to Navy. However, no amount of embarrassing losses will get head coach Buddy Tevens to admit this team is moving backwards.
I don't believe we're losing ground. Certainly we are human. There is frustration, and as hard as we push mentally, guys do, it wears on them a little bit.
Around the state, Grambling was upset yesterday as the Tigers will not be able to win number 400 for Eddie Robinson this season. And Northeast Louisiana, in its first season in Division 1A, pulls off the upset over Kentucky. And when we come back, we'll have all of the day's scores and NFL land yet. But first, here are the matchups for the second round of the Prep Playoffs.
If you're looking for a grand time, visit Grand Casino, Gulfport, Mississippi, and Grand Casino, Biloxi, Mississippi, where the fun never ends. Both offer thousands of free, safe, covered parking spaces, free valet, and look what's inside. At Grand Casino, Biloxi, you'll be greeted by a spectacular recreation of the 1890s. Grand Casino Gulfport offers a magnificent Mardi Gras theme. It's festive fun at both locations. Each Grand Casino offers a supervised activity center for children, a video arcade for teens, and many great restaurants featuring food from around the world. It's non-stop excitement 24 hours a day. Grand Casino Gulfport and Grand Casino Biloxi, simply the best.
At Chevrolet, we feel everyone, regardless of income, deserves a safe car. That's why we equip the all-new Lumina LS with dual airbags, anti-lock brakes, side guard door beams, child security rear door locks. Sure, anyone can build a car like this. That's easy. We build it so most people can afford it. That's genuine Chevrolet.
To appreciate the new Lumina, you need to come into the Super Chevy showrooms and drive it.
You know, at AutoZone, we know our customers work just as hard as we do. So we're open when they need us, at night and on Sundays. And since 2 million folks each week count on AutoZone for what they need when they need it, we're not about to let them down. That's why we carry so many parts and why we price them so low every day. You see, selling top quality parts at low prices every day is how we make a living. But helping customers, well, that's how we make friends.
Some big matchups around the NFL today, particularly in San Francisco, where the Niners were hosting Dallas, and in Kansas City, where the Chiefs played host to San Diego. However, drawing a lot of rave notices is a heretofore unknown quarterback in Cincinnati. And you can forget about those high-priced, highly drafted quarterbacks. The Bengal fans' former 6th-round pick, Jeff Blake, will do just fine. Blake's tossed for over 1,000 yards and is 2-1 in his last 3 games. He's getting some help, though. Today it came from Carl Pickens, who picks this bomb away from a defender for the touchdown. And when Doug Pelfrey won today's game with his last-second field goal as he did last week, it sent head coach David Chula into a full sprint. Just think only 324 more wins, and he'll catch Dad Don. At San Francisco, the game of the year thus far, Steve Young and the Niners out-dueling Troy Aikman and the Cowboys. Aikman was picked 3 times, while Young had a big day with some help from who else? Jerry Rice, who takes this one 57 yards with the leap and the steal, and then in for the easy score. Today, Drew Bledsoe set an NFL record for pass attempts, and tonight and tomorrow, he could set a record for Bengay usage. Bledsoe threw 70 passes, 70 in the Pats' overtime win against Minnesota. The 70 passes, the Saints didn't take that many offensive snaps. However, Bledsoe and the Pats had the last laugh with the victory. Great plays, 2 particular coming to mind. First, Arizona's Brian Reeves in the back of the end zone for the touchdown as the Cards beat the Giants. And in Chicago, the Bears' Curtis Conway takes the snap on a fake field goal. The Dolphins sniff it out and almost snuff out the play, but Conway launches a pass up for grabs, and after the ball takes a slight detour, it ends up in the hands of Keith Jennings, who brings it in for 6. The Bears are unbeaten as Steve Walsh as their starting quarterback. Next weekend, LSU and Tulane will play for the 92nd time. The meeting will be in the Superdome. The game means little except for bragging rights, but whoever wins will get to keep those rights for 2 years. LSU and Tulane do not play in 1995, though they will return in 96. Let's hope their respective programs come with them. The Saints will be on the road in Los Angeles, not against the Rams, but the 5-5 Raiders, and we'll be here next week for 4th Down on 4. Good night, everyone.
Fourth Down on 4 has been brought to you by Circuit City, Dub Herring Ford Lincoln Mercury, and Papa's Camper City.
Welcome to Casino Magic.
Where our goal is to make your visit a magical experience. Enjoy the finest and elegant dining, our award-winning buffet,
With fabulous concerts, sporting events, and more.
non-stop excitement 365 days a year.
With the friendliest staff in the United States.
Visit us soon.
Come see why Casino Magic is a cut above.
Casino Magic is the one you're gonna love. Casino Magic is a cut above.
If the biggest snow this winter is on your old TV, come to Circuit City with over 180 top brand TVs to choose from. Circuit City, the right prices right now. As you can see, a computer would look nice under the tree this year. Guaranteed low prices look nice on every computer at Circuit City. Circuit City, the right prices right now.
Friends here at Dove Herring Ford Lincoln Mercury Picayune, we have a great selection of the 1995 Ford Crown Victoria. All the extra equipment that you like. Low price, $18,988. Friends, that's after the rebate. Why don't you take that short drive to Picayune? You're going to like our deals. You're going to like the way we do business. Friends, I want you to meet Sam Meeks, our salesman of the month for October. Did an outstanding job. Hello, folks. I always wanted to do this. Hey, that's a good car, Papa. All right.
Watch Kids at Close Range, continuing tomorrow on Channel 4.